I'll bring in my friend. We often bring him in on Fridays. He is dynamic, and he is outspoken, and he is polarizing. He is our instigator at FS1, Rob Parker, co-host of The Odd Couple, Chris Broussard, weekdays, Fox Sports Radio, teaches sports commentary at USC. Yeah, that place over there's got all sorts of craziness happening. We got a new president, though.
I know. Hey, I didn't take any bribes. I'm just teaching.
Okay, so I said this earlier. When I out of college, I got a job in Las Vegas. I was a very lucky kid. You know how the first job you get in broadcasting is always like, middle of nowhere.
Right.
And I didn't make anything, but I got a great job in Las Vegas. And boxing was a big deal. So Tark and UNLV were big, and boxing was big. So I covered Mike Tyson, Sugar Ray Leonard, all that. Mike Tyson started, he had a jab. His movement was great. He was a great young, teachable, coachable boxer. Then he got rich. And at the end, he had no jab. He went into fights not in shape. He got lazy. And Mike just went for the knockout punch. And you can't beat Evander Holyfield and Lennox Lewis with that kind of work ethic. I look at the Lakers as Tyson, the old Tyson. Big brand, a lot of money, a lot of history, but they gave away their best young center to the Clippers. They haven't worked terribly hard. Magic is a wealthy guy, and Kobe's still a wealthy guy. And I look at them as Tyson. They're going for the big swings. They land LeBron, knockout. And they're going for Anthony Davis, knockout. But they don't have a shooter on this roster, and it's 2019. They feel like the old Mike Tyson to me, where they made too much money, and they're not putting in the work, and they're going for the big knockout. And I'm not sure they're landing any big star outside of maybe Jimmy Butler.
I'm with you. It's the ultimate swing and miss. It really is. And they missed on so many different factors with trying to put this together. Okay, you land LeBron James, but did you realize that he's 34 years old with a lot of mileage? So he has his first really major injury. Then you have a core that you're talking about how great it is, and you look at it like, it's okay.
Kuzma's your guy.
Right? It's okay, but it's not great.
Not special.
Right. And then there were a lot of people, when they put the team together, said, where's the shooting? Where's the three-point shooting? A lot of people did.
I think most of us did.
Right? Most people looked at the roster and was like, I don't know about this roster.
They had Brook Lopez, let him go. He was a shooter.
Exactly. And instead, Magic talked about he watched all the videotape of the finals and said that do you need some tough guys to beat the Warriors? It's not all about the shooters. I think that was a miscalculation. And when you look at everything that's happened, and I keep telling you, Paul George not coming has wrecked everything. Imagine if Paul George was on this team now.
You'd have your shooter and you'd have your second star.
You would have that, and then you could add Jimmy Butler or a third guy, and then you're really in contention.
By the way, and there is a lot of people in the league that feel that Oklahoma City simply outworked the Lakers in recruiting.
There's no doubt about it, and I think people always think, well, we're the Lakers. We don't have to do anything. You want to play here, don't you? It's Los Angeles. The sunshine, the history, all the banners. People want to be wooed, Colin.
Yes.
I don't care who you are, how much money you make. People want to be wanted.
Yes.
And I think that's where Magic miscalculated the Paul George thing. I mean, you can look at Magic now. He's probably considered the Flavor Flav of NBA executives. He's flashy, but he hadn't gotten anything done in a long time.
Let me go to this. I always thought David Stern, the former NBA commissioner, was too much of an owner's commissioner.
No doubt about it.
I feel Adam Silver, the pendulum has swung so far, he's too much of a player's commissioner. So Adam Silver extended the All-Star break to benefit the players more rest. I'm okay with it. He said, I'm going to cut back on some back-to-backs. I'm okay with it. The star players have responded by missing more games, including big TV games. Kobe came out yesterday and he said, look, the only time I took a game off is when I couldn't walk. There are kids in the crowd, families. So, Rob, I grew up in a small town, didn't have a lot of money. I would go to one NBA game every 3 years, and I wanted to see downtown Freddie Brown of the Sonics, and he was always available. Let's not forget that a lot of people that go to NBA games, they're not season ticket holders. They're small-town people that go to see. Most people aren't in America rich. Most people in America, even in Los Angeles at Laker games, are not movie stars. They're working-class people who go 4 times a year. I think these stars have taken advantage of a very pro-player commissioner.
No doubt about it. And I think I told you, it borders on consumer fraud. It really does.
You said that last year.
Right, from this standpoint. How about the game last week in Milwaukee where Giannis didn't play and LeBron didn't play? Tell me there weren't people, that might have been their only game of the year, thinking LeBron's coming.
Of course.
It's a big game in March, right?
$6,500 seats in Milwaukee. The average ticket price tripled, and Giannis and LeBron didn't play.
I think that's a problem, and we know that Popovich was the one who started
He
it.
did.
Okay, and he got fined by Stern. I remember it very vividly.
By the way, and nobody really cared because they weren't that fascinated. I mean, D. Wade would take a day off. We're all like, wait. The Spurs guys would take a day off. Nobody cared. But David Stern was always the owner's commissioner. He's like, time out. We're not doing this to our fans, because he would do it about 6 times a year.
And then what happened was, because LeBron adopted it, and once the best player on the planet decides to start taking days off, other players go, well, if LeBron is okay and cool with taking days off, I'll take some off as well. And they follow the leader. Just like when Michael Jordan played, you know this, he never took off unless he was hurt. His last year at age 40, he played all 82 games.
I know, that's one of the funny trivia at the bar.
Right?
I saw his last game in Portland. He was still a great player. He was still he wasn't quite.
He was 40 years old.
No,
right?
but Michael just played. And I think Michael from his world vision on shoes to his game. Michael's a businessman.
He understood it, though.
He did.
That the fans out there matter, and you can't take advantage of people. People are paying their hard-earned money. You just said it. Most people aren't filthy rich and don't care. That might be their only game. I remember a couple of years ago in Memphis, LeBron didn't show up for one of those games, and it was near Christmas. So many kids were in tears. That was their Christmas gift.
Yeah. No. Listen, I grew up in a small town. Joey grew up in the hipster environment in Pittsburgh, and you in New York City.
Right.
There were guys like me that grew up in the middle of hayfields.
How many games you think, even as a kid growing up in New York, did I get to go to a year?
How many?
1 or 2 if we were lucky. And most of the time, somebody gave my parents tickets. Do you know what I mean? We didn't buy tickets.
What about you, Joey Taylor, from an amazing family? How many games a year?
NBA games?
Yeah.
There's no NBA team in Pittsburgh.
Okay, what about...
I didn't go to an NBA game until I was an adult.
Okay, what about the Steelers?
I mean, I didn't really go to Steelers games either. I went to high school football games.
See?
Hey,
I didn't start going to any professional games until my brother started playing.
Was it a financial thing or just a geography thing?
I mean, it's a financial thing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 3 kids in the house.
Yeah,
and,
same here.
It's not.
You don't have ticket money. You know what I mean? Think about it.
People make it work because it's what they spend their entertainment dollar on,
right.
and it's part of what they do, which is why it is important to be able to see the players when you go.
Okay, here's something. I think Zion's going to be a really good pro. I always laugh when we all pick apart these young kids. I think he's a kind of a positionless player, which, it's easier to look at a shooting guard and go, but LeBron's positionless. And,
a lot of guys in the NBA now.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me. I just think he's a big, strong, fast kid with a beautiful touch. He'll develop an outside shot. But let me ask you this. What if Duke, with 4 NBA players, doesn't win? Do we look at Zion differently?
No, we do not. We don't look at it that way because when you talk about a one and done and a single elimination, you can get beat. I'll tell you right here, if Michael Jordan was in a single elimination game, he wouldn't have 6 championships. He wouldn't be 6-0.
Right.
Somebody can beat you one night.
Well, yeah, by the way.
Or a big shot.
Zion's a big physical kid. What if you get an official who's calling it tight and one charging foul, he's got 2 fouls, you sit him, and then he gets a foul early second half? It depends a lot on officiating. If you're going to call a game close with Duke, Zion's the body that could get 3 fouls like that.
And then you neutralize him, and then all of a sudden Duke isn't as good. So I agree with that. I don't think you look down on him or think, well, he didn't get a championship. I know 70% of the country's picking Duke because fans do the most obvious takes.
Right.
It's just obvious to pick the best player and the Duke tradition.
They do have the best team, don't they?
No, I get it, but I'm just saying.
Do you think he'll be a great pro?
I think he'll be a very good pro. I'm not convinced yet. There have been a lot of busts at the top of the NBA draft, guys you thought were going to make it. And
you think a very good pro, 24 a game?
Yeah, he could do that. But I'll tell you this. If I'm the Knicks and I'm able to get sign the 2 big stars, if I get
Durant
and Kyrie, I would trade him to New Orleans and get Anthony Davis.
Oh, that'd be a bummer.
I would, though.
I've seen star players in New Orleans. It's not good.
But I'm just saying, wouldn't you, if you're a Knicks and you're trying to win a championship, remember, the Knicks aren't like most franchises. They don't have to sell tickets. They've been selling tickets for 40 years and haven't won a championship.
I'm not with you that Durant and Kyrie, I think they're both great and they're both flaky. I don't think they win championships.
You don't think if you put that with Anthony Davis, they wouldn't have a chance to win a championship?
You just put together the
put
Olympic
together a
team.
super team.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna get 3 guys go to any one team.
You want to bet some chicken wings on this one?
You think you're going to get 3 stars to the Knicks?
I think that if the Knicks get the first overall pick, and they get those 2 guys to sign, there's a good chance that they will make a trade with New Orleans.
That is a lot of.
I'm putting it out there. You got me? Chicken wings?
You know who I think is going to win the number 1 pick? Cleveland. And then I think I don't think Kyrie's going to go to New York, and I don't think Kevin Durant's going to go to New York. I'm not convinced of it.
There's been so much talk about it.
But
where there's smoke, there's usually fire.
You're right. But I think it's easy to say stuff. Remember, Draymond publicly chastised KD, and it was ugly, right? He got personal. Kevin Durant's been a little aloof with the Warriors front office, a little aloof. He also had a really tragedy happen in his family, so let's be thoughtful of KD. But I think when it gets down to brass tacks, KD is going to go, I've got my 3rd MVP finals. We're building a new arena, and I play with the greatest organization probably in NBA history. I'm not going anywhere.
I get that, and he'd have a chance to win 4 in a row, which even the greats have never done, right? So I get that part. But there's also a part of him wanting to totally validate his career.
God.
Winning, yes, you could say you could poo-poo it, Colin. He's going to have to go somewhere, win something with somebody else for people to say, because they'll always look at him and say he joined a record-setting team, right? The Warriors that already had won a championship without him. And granted, while he's going to win 3 in a row, and I fully expect him to win, I think that he knows deep down. It was almost like Kobe here with Shaq. He had won those 3 championships, but he knew he would never get the full credit until he could win without Shaq. Shaq was the better player. He was a more dominant player.
When I watched Kobe with Shaq, you know what I thought? Kobe's the closest thing I've ever seen to MJ.
Yeah, because he emulated MJ between the bands, the way he talked. If you would have turned on, not look at a picture and hear them talk, he imitated Michael Jordan.
I never felt Kobe had to validate himself to me with Pau Gasol. I thought Kobe was one of the greatest.
You don't think Shaq was the most dominating player in the NBA during those 3 in a row.
And Kobe was the next Michael Jordan, 90% of Jordan. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.